This is way worse than we thought. Ryan Helsley has been nothing shy of a disaster since a near 1,000-mile journey from St. Louis to Flushing. It showed last night, and fans are beginning to grow restless with their setup man, which is exactly what we're talking about, only here on Mets Digest. I'm your host today, Mike Duda. We're going to talk about Helsley's struggles since coming to the East Coast, but first, we got to talk about some subscribers, and that being the fact that 69.8% of you that watch these videos aren't one. So please, do me a favor, just a favor here on Mets Digest, and hit that free subscribe button. That way we can bring content to you about the amazing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. And before we get in, I want to say I 100% still support the Ryan Helsley deal. I loved it when it happened. You can go check out my video on that. I thought it was awesome. I thought David Stearns did a really nice job with amping up the bullpen at the trade deadline. It really hasn't worked in his favor, but that is not a knock on Stearns. It's just the way that it's happened in Flushing. That's more of a knock on Jeremy Hefner, the pitching coach, if anything. I still love Helsley. His entrance is awesome. I think that's phenomenal. I've seen it in person before, and I still think Ryan Helsley is a very good pitcher, but he definitely has struggled here in Flushing as we take a look at the career numbers, and as you can tell, he was lethal in St. Louis. A 2.67 ERA. Very good from 2019 to 2025. Now that has ticked up by 0.05 points because over 6 games and 5 innings pitched, he has been disastrous in Flushing, a negative 0.7 WAR. He's blowing games left and right. Already 2 losses to his name in a Met uniform. He's blown a couple of save opportunities as well. Just simply not good here for Helsley, and you could see it right there. 7 blown saves on the season. 2 of them in a Met uniform, 2 losses in a Met uniform. Not good whatsoever. 5 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 runs, 3 of them earned, a home run allowed. He also has 3 walks to just 6 strikeouts. And this is a guy that's really good. This is a guy that throws hard. He throws 100 consistently. And look at this. Funny enough, I get it. The Mets have been really bad of late. They've lost 13 of their last 15 games. So the odds of Helsley pitching in a game that they've won are very slim. It's a 2 in 15 chance. But every single game that Ryan Helsley has pitched, all 6 of them in a Met uniform, the Mets have ended up losing. And look at this. Of course, the most recent 2, Sunday in Milwaukee and last night, the Mets lost by 1 run. They also lost by 1 run on Tuesday the 5th. Also Monday the 4th. They lost by 1 run on August 1st. Almost every game that Helsley is pitching, they're losing by 1 run because he really hasn't been good. And I know he started giving up earned runs on Sunday. He's only given up 3 earned runs, but he's given up a couple of runs. Monday the 4th is a good example. That was the game I personally was at. He came in and yes, both runs are unearned because Brett Beatty made a throwing error. Francisco Lindor also didn't do a good job on the ground ball covering second base. But that should have only been 1 run, and Helsley ended up giving up a few things, aka a walk, that ended up allowing another run to score. So it's not fully on the defense, but it's also not fully on Helsley. But of course, Ryan Helsley is a good part to blame. Only 5 innings pitched, 2 blown saves. We've gone over all this. The stats speak for themselves. They're not very good, and this is a very good pitcher. Look at that breaking run value, 95th percentile, 99th fastball velocity value at a 99.4 average mile an hour fastball. He's in the 99th percentile. 97% chase rate. That whiff rate is really good. Expected ERA is very good, meaning at least in a Met uniform, he's expected to be a little bit better than he has been. We'll take a look at that when we look specifically at his pitches. Overall, he doesn't get hit that hard. Okay, I guess he is lower in the hard hit percentile, but that makes sense because he throws the ball hard, and when you throw it hard, if it's going to be hit against you, it's going to be hit against you hard, but he's avoiding the barrel at a good rate. He's a great ground ball pitcher, gets a ton of strikeouts. He's a very solid pitcher. Ryan Helsley is good. That's why the Mets went out and got him, and they gave up a good amount for him, but it hasn't been good in Flushing, particularly because of the fastball. Here's a very interesting stat that they showed on Sports Night last night. You can see it there under batting average for the slider and the four-seamer. He almost never throws that curveball nor the cutter. Ryan Helsley's basically a 2-pitch player, a slider and a four-seamer. Dead last in batting average against versus fastballs amongst qualified pitchers, aka someone that has thrown 300 fastballs or more. He is dead last with an opposing batting average of .410. Meanwhile, on the slider, the second best batting average against amongst players that have thrown 300 or more sliders in all of Major League Baseball with a 115 batting average against. So it's very simple. His slider is working well for him. Granted, it didn't work well last night for him because when you take a look at the scoring, that Harris double was on a slider. It was a hanging slider, middle. That Albies one, I believe, was also a slider. It might have been, I think it was a fastball. It was a fastball that was really low. Again, we'll hear what Helsley had to say. And yes, that slider did indeed give up. He gave up a big hit last night on that slider. That Harris double was crucial. It was a 3-2 game, and now it was a 3-3 game. He blew the save on that Harris double off a slider. But again, the numbers speak for themselves. That slider has been really solid all year for him. Overall, however, in part thanks to Helsley, the Mets have been blowing a ton of games. Losers of 13 of their last 15. We've seen it with the game log. They're losing games that Ryan Helsley is pitching in. And look at this. Over the last couple of days, a 6-run lead blown, 5-run lead blown, 4 blown, 2 blown, 1 run blown 5 times. That's over their last 6 games. That is not good whatsoever. The Mets have not been playing good baseball, and Ryan Helsley, unfortunately, is a big part of the blame. So let's go ahead and turn it over to the skip. What did Carlos Mendoza have to say? He said the fastball's been getting hit. Obviously, a .410 batting average against this season, and it's a plus fastball, meaning it's hard and it moves a good amount. But I think he's leaving that slider in the middle of the strike zone. That's exactly what we saw right here when you talk about that Michael Harris double. Then, of course, the Albies double was a little bit different. It was a great pitch. Again, we'll hear from Helsley. It was low. It was just a golf swing and a miracle swing from Ozzie Albies that ended up working. And that's what's going to happen when you're losing ball games. You're going to be an unlucky ball club. But let's turn it back to Mendoza for the rest of the quote, where he says, that's kind of the big difference for me. You saw that pitch today to Harris, that slider, middle. And they're going to get ready for 100 miles an hour. That's what Helsley averages on his fastball velocity. When that slider's staying right there in the middle of the zone, good hitters are going to make him pay for it. Why? Because he also throws that slider hard. You see, 88.9 miles an hour on the slider. That's an 89 mile an hour slider. You almost never see sliders that reach 90 miles an hour. Peak Edwin Diaz, for example, was someone that does it, but it's very, very rare to see such a hard slider. So if you're ready for the fastball that's 100 miles an hour, you're going to be ready for a slider that's also coming in pretty hard. He doesn't separate it. It's not one pitch is slow and the other is really fast. So we just got to get him to continue to finishing those pitches, especially the breaking ball, the slider in this case, so that way when he throws the fastball, he can use it effectively. But this guy's elite, man, and we just got to get him back on track. Now, the only other relevant thing last night that Mendy said in terms of Helsley, there was that double that was hit. It was hit by Harris. Cedric Mullins out in center field maybe had a chance to go out and get it. So let's see if Carlos Mendoza thought that Mullins had a bad route to it. He said off the bat, I don't think he had a chance, especially because I think we were playing him pull side. So I have no issue with the route here. The ball was hit to left center. Of course, Harris batting from the left side in that instance. So it was to the opposite field. You were playing him pull side. It's just the way that the shifts work. It didn't work in the Mets' favor. And again, it goes back to the point that the Mets are not doing well. They're not going to have luck on their side. Those bounces and those kind of plays where you pull the defense to go to the pull side, of course, is going to be hit to the push side. It's just the bad luck that the Mets are continuing to get. Now, maybe he just needs to be a closer. We've seen this. He had the most saves in all of baseball last season. He has been a closer his entire career. He has over 100 saves, averages 25 saves per 162 games he pitches. And Grant Young actually talked about this 5 days ago on the 10th of August in an article titled Ryan Helsley Gets Honest About Not Earning Mets Closer Role After Trade. Of course, Edwin Diaz is the closer, and Helsley was not selected over Diaz to be this year's closer. So is it impacting him? Well, let's see what Young had to say, or rather what Helsley had to say himself. He said, I just like being a part of the team, just getting out and helping the team any way I can. Specifically, I always tell people, they ask me if it's any different. I don't think so. I'm trying to throw up a zero no matter what inning I'm in. I'm trying to help the team win. No matter what inning I get, whether it's 3 outs or just 1 out or finish an inning, whatever the case may be, I'm trying to throw up a zero no matter what the inning is. Great mentality. Absolutely, I agree with this 110%. He's saying he just wants to be a part of a team. He doesn't really care. This was the follow-up question. Do you miss closing? He doesn't care. He just wants to be on the mound helping his ball club. but he had a little bit of a different answer last night. When he was asked in the postgame, he said, I'm trying to figure out that role being the setup man, that routine, and being ready when my name is called. I haven't been good. I like that from Helsley. He is taking full accountability, and again, I like Helsley overall. He's just been struggling. As for the Albies double, let's hear the in-depth analysis. He said, the pitch to Albies was a ball below the zone. It was kind of a weird swing, but it ended up with a good result. I have to keep working and try to figure it out. I've been leaving the slider up. It feels good. The shape is there. I just have to get it in a better location. So overall, Ryan Helsley has definitely been struggling here in a Met uniform. You saw it last night, but I think there's hope. He's a very, very, very talented ball player. Again, I might be very positive on him because I happen to like him, but to go ahead and talk about that quote that we heard just a little bit ago about Helsley not necessarily being ready for that setup man role, he's got to change his mentality. Absolutely. He said he just wants to be a part of the team. He's happy to help the team win or help them try to win at bare minimum, obviously. And I get that 100%. I support that. I like that. But Helsley absolutely does not deserve the closer role over Diaz. So I'm glad that he's embracing it. I'm glad that he's trying to fix that mentality. And hopefully sooner rather than later, the Mets can really get that guy that they went out and got in Ryan Helsley. And hopefully the Mets can turn it around, starting up their series tonight against the Seattle Mariners. And hopefully go and even make the postseason and then go make a run in the postseason with Ryan Helsley dominating his way through to Hell's Bells. So go down there in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Has Helsley been a bit of a disaster since joining the New York Mets staff? Do you think he's going to turn it around? I think he absolutely will. He's a super talented ball player. I think he'll get that mentality down in just a little bit. And someone, as a ball player myself, I used to play and I used to be a pitcher. It's a lot different, for example, when I was a bullpen arm compared to a starter. Then, as a bullpen arm, I was a bullpen arm for a while, and then I ended up becoming a starter, and I really had a different mindset, and I personally mastered that starter mindset better, but sometimes you're just thrown into a situation and you don't have any input on it, like Helsley is right now. So Helsley very simply just has to understand how he's going to approach his mentality in terms of being a setup man. Again, I think he'll be fine. He's very, very talented. As for the Mets, I really do hope they'll be fine, but I'm not very confident, so we'll see how they do in a 3-game set against Seattle. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have for you today. Thank you so much as always for watching, and let's go Mets.